Hello and welcome to the 33rd episode of the Boar Hat Tavern Podcast, a podcast all about Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Today, great show as always, we're going to be talking about the new dark Traitor Meliodas, and we're also going to be looking at a couple things that came out on JP this week as well. The new Sariel, which looks awesome, new green Sariel, and a few new relics, one of which was for baby Merlin, which I know a lot of people are pretty excited about, so we're going to talk about that as well. And we're going to cap the night off by having the soundbite game that's really popular. It's called Whose Sound Is That Anyways? And that should be a lot of fun. Odie and Clap have never yet done that, so it should be an interesting time. So I'm your host, Daz, and I'm joined, as always, by Clap and Odie. Welcome to the show again, guys. So it's been interesting. Did you guys pull on the new Meli banner, Odie? Like, did you end up getting any good luck?
I mean, who didn't pull on Meli, you know? So it was one of those banners. It was pretty good to me. It was just, I was haunted by, the green demon Meliodas. I think I pulled 5 copies of him on the 900. So, every banner's got that one unit that you just seems to haunt you, and you pull a bunch of copies of that instead of the Fest units. But the Cusack and the Gother, I mean, that's a great combo. I got a few copies of them too, which was really nice.
Nice. Yeah, it was a really good banner. I pulled a lot of Goddess Liz's, so I've got her maybe 12-6 now, but that was the one that was just haunting me throughout the whole banner. I could have actually used Green Demon Meliodas. I don't have him 6-6 yet, so it would have been nice if I swapped luck with you, but hey, Fest coins, nothing wrong with those. Have you clapped? Did you get any luck?
Did a lot of Goddess Liz's as well, and I ended up with a 2-6 Meli.
Oh,
but same as you, I would have liked those green Melis Odie got.
I did one rotation. I ended up with 1-6. So
2-6 for me also.
Hey, I saw some people get 5-6 or 7-6s in one rotation too. Hey, luck comes in spurts. Hopefully, maybe my luck will be a bit better on the next festival, or maybe all their luck will be. But let's get into the meat of the show, ironically, which is Dark Traitor Meliodas is the big topic today. So let's talk about him a little bit. So just going over his kit like we always do. We'll start with just talking about what he does, and then we'll give our thoughts and impressions on him. The first thing we want to talk before we talk about Dark Traitor Meliodas is actually that he's a new element type. He's a dark type. And dark type isn't just like the other types. They have an extra little bonus that goes along with it. First off, there's no current type disadvantage with the dark type. We're presuming that when light type comes along, it will be disadvantaged against light, but you get 10% damage increase against all elements except for other dark elements. And you also, all your allies also get 10% increased damage against attribute advantage. So if they have attribute advantage already, you're boosting their attribute advantage even more on attacks. Pretty cool little bit there. So Dark Traitor Meliodas' first skill is a single target amplify card. His second skill is an AoE Pierce card, just like Rugal or Blue Demon Meliodas. And his passive is what makes him interesting. When an ally uses a single target attack skill, so it's any ally, it doesn't have to be Dark Traitor Meliodas, it increases all stats of the hero by 6% up to 5 times for 3 turns. When 2 or more single target attacks are used within the same turn, this decreases the ally's damage taken from enemies by 8% up to 40%. That decreased damage taken is a gray debuff. The all stats boost that you get for using single target attacks, that's a blue buff, so that can be stripped. His ult is an AoE ult that removes buffs and stances and decreases all stats, depending on his ult level, between 5 to 30%. And it also inflicts cleave bonus damage, which is damage based on the crit damage of the unit between 50 and 100%. And again, based on the alt level of the unit. Okay, that's a bit of a mouthful. Is he strong, Odie? What do you think of this guy? Is he the new meta-breaking unit? Breaking the metal just like King did?
I don't want to say he's as meta-breaking as King. He's great. He's definitely a good unit. If you didn't pull on him, then you're probably going to be sorry. But I think unlike King, well, I guess it is kind of similar. So yeah, I guess he is a meta-breaking unit. So I was trying to think across the board, and he checks all the same boxes that King does. So, he is meta-breaking. He's a great unit, good for PvP, and my favorite, the Bird. Finally, I have my Magelda team finally formed. I'm so happy to finally get some use out of her. But yeah, he's a great unit to have.
So let's talk about the bird for a second, because I know a lot of people are still struggling with that and putting together a team. So who are you using, Odie, for the bird then? And we'll see what Clapp was using, because I know he was also using Dark Traitor Meliodas. But tell me about Magelda and your experiences there.
So I've been playing a lot with the bird here for the past week and a half, and I've tried quite a few teams here. A lot of people are running the Brunhilde, Traitor Meliodas, Matrona, and who's the fourth one they're running on that one?
Goth.
I think Goth is the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, that's not a bad team itself. My favorite team by far is definitely Nanashi, Magelda, Dark Traitor Meliodas, and Matrona. So all in all, I think Nanashi is just a perfect fit for it. He gives stacks for everybody. It's got 2 cards, you get the free 2 stacks. And then on top of that, his ult hits like an absolute truck, since he's an amplified ult as well. So personally, Nanashi team has been my favorite. The ult controls from Nanashi's his passive, and combined with all the stacks you got, it's gravy train. I mean, I'm having zero trouble right now going all the way through floor 3. Sometimes just one run, floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, consistently. Just screw what buffs he has. He can just run right through it. So fantastic.
I know a lot of people have been skeptical about Magelda, but you're showing that there's a good use for her, eh?
Yeah, I love Magelda, and a lot of, I guess I shouldn't say I love, but I love Magelda when it comes to the bird. The Gother team, with constantly trying to get the Gother passive built up, of course, is really easy. And Magelda's problem in the past is you can't get the all stats increase without having high health. And Meli's combination of the damage reduction and her rejuvenation skill, plus Matrona's regeneration that she gives to the whole team itself, it's just like every single round you're getting that all stat boost. And so by the second, third turn, you're already, nearing max damage with your characters. And even Magelda, her amplify card hits pretty hard, and of course her ult is great versus the bird. So it's just a really coherent team. They really blend together really nicely.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see Magelda on some upcoming banners. I know Ragnarok's next chapter is probably not too far out, so I'm hoping she's on that, because I don't have a copy of her. So I don't even get the luxury of trying to use her. I just have to live vicariously through you, Odie.
Yeah, I'll send you videos.
Nice. So Clapp, are you using the team that Odie mentioned there as well? I guess you're using the Brunhilde, Matrona, Green Gother, and Traitor Meliodas. How do you find that?
Yeah, it's same as Odie. Just first try just now before the podcast. Just no effort. Even with the revive passive, just damage all the way.
You find it's just much easier than having, I guess Margaret would be in that the Traitor Meliodas slot.
Definitely. And
you don't find a problem without the cleanse too, eh? That's pretty interesting.
There's only one thing you might want to cleanse, and that's on floor 2, phase 2, the stats downs you get.
Yeah, I'd say it actually not having the cleanse is key, because when the bird hits that bleed on you, it's going to reduce a little bit of health, and then the very next round you get the health right back, and you get the all stats boost. So the actual cleanse is not needed because it's feeding you the stacks.
I'll have to say I'm in Clapp's camp too. I use the exact same team you did, Clapp, just because that's the accessible team that I have, and it didn't take much time at all. I've had only 1 week of trying it, and it was, I think, first attempt. I just got through it all nice and clean, which was nice. It seems like the one thing that you don't maybe really think about too much is the damage mitigation that Meli provides. 40% damage mitigation, then you've got Matrona tanking all the damage. It seems to make it a lot easier for Matrona to survive. Like there were some turns on the 3rd floor where I'd find Matrona, if the bird got a couple silver cards, or just it was just an unfortunate kind of sequence of events, that my Matrona might have a chance of dying. But with getting those stacks up, it seems to be pretty difficult for the bird to kill Matrona in pretty much any situation now. So I think that's what's really kind of put it over the top for me.
One more team to throw out there too, while we're talking about the bird, is another team I tested was with Green Arthur. And throwing Green Arthur, Meliodas, Magelda, and Matrona together, and because your actual buffs from Green Arthur's passive for the defense mitigation and the offense boost, that will stack with Meli. And so you add all those stacks together, it's something crazy. It's like a 70% defense reduction, where the bird almost can't even hurt you. The only problem I had with that team was damage. So if you can kind of stack your cards right, you can probably get through it. It's just a lot more painful than trying to just run through with Nanashi and just smashing everything right through.
Still, that's a pretty solid option. There might not be, there's a lot of people that would probably have Green Arthur, I believe. Was he a free unit at one point? I can't even recall.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was strictly PB.
Yeah, so that might be an accessible option for people who are still struggling and don't have maybe the other units we're talking about built up at all. So interesting there too. But let's shift it back to PvP, because the bird is great. And it's great that it's becoming easier with more units coming out. But really, most of the game is PvP focused. So have you guys been seeing a lot of Traitor? I keep wanting to say Assault Meliodas. Traitor Meliodas in PvP. I've seen him probably about half the comps I'm facing. I feel like I see Traitor Meliodas. Are you guys having that same sort of experience? Odie, have you seen him a lot in PvP these days?
I'm probably about right there with you, where it's 50-50. I'm still seeing a lot of King running around, which is, King's really good, so he's not out the meta yet. But yeah, I mean, it's less than I expected. I expected to run into 75 to 80%, if not everybody having Meliodas, because he's the shiny new toy. Everybody wants to play with him.
Yeah, what comps are you finding are the most effective with your opponents, or are you running them in PvP? I don't know. Are you running them?
Yeah, I'm running them, and I've kind of got to the point where I started cheating. I got a little frustrated. Was it last week? There, I went 9 straight losses trying to build a PvP team around Meli with, of course, my crazy comps and relics that I have built, and it was ugly. So eventually, I just threw the one with Meli and put old school Ludo next to him. And of course, it's just, what am I at? I think I got like 330k CC. So anybody I run into is just, whoever I want is dead first turn. And so it's pretty much, I'm undefeated since then. You get that team and you get high CC, you can't lose.
Yeah. Do you guys, maybe I'll ask this of Clap. Do you think like it's really a go first and you win meta? Because I feel like anytime I go first, I generally win. And anytime I go second, I generally lose. Does it almost like not really matter who you bring?
Yeah, I've not lost a match where I went first yet in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and are you seeing the same sort of teams too? Like the one team that I've been liking, I think I might mention it last week too, is Evil Lilia, Blue Evil Lilia, Keo, Arthur or Green Gother, one of the two, and then Festival's Elders in the back, all on HP, so I can get that high CC to have a better chance of going first. But I don't know who are you using, Clap? Are you using any sort of similar team? I think you were using Evil Lilia for a while, were you?
Yeah, same as you. I just switch between King and Lilia sometimes. It just depends on what I feel like using.
Yeah, it's really nice though. Like I'm really happy that every team isn't the same team, and there is a lot of variety, which I think lends for a much healthier place for the game to be. Unfortunately, like you have to go first generally to win, but if you do, you can pick off a unit or two. It seems like that's kind of the meta right now, is you got to kill units hard and fast. If you don't kill them on turn one, you're probably going to be in trouble. The times that I have run into some issues actually is when I'm facing a glue variant team, because my team isn't good at securing a double kill on turn one. I can kill a unit, but if you've got a Godless Liz passive, then it becomes problematic. Or there's evade food even too, can be trouble sometimes. So that's what I've seen has been tough. If you can't go first, maybe as a suggestion, trying to go with a Goddess Liz comp might not be a bad idea. But Odie, in these situations where you see the T1, the Traitor Meliodas on the same team, you got like 2 powerhouse units, which I'm seeing on a lot of teams. Like it'll be some combination of those two, maybe even Evil Lilia and Traitor Meliodas and Keo too, like can be on that team. There's a lot of different ways you can mix and match these units. Who do you go for first if you see a T1 and a Traitor Meliodas? I always have that problem. Like I know I can kill one of them, but you just have to try and decide which one to pick.
I think it depends on what your team is. If you're running Traitor Meli, then I think it's an easy choice. You go for their Meli, because once you kill their Meli, their T1 can't kill your Meli. So that's always an easy one. I have been seeing a lot of the Goddess Liz thrown on there, like you were talking about earlier, and that has been an absolute wrench in the system, because when you start out there and you do the little double T1 whack and go to follow with Meli, you don't get rid of someone, so they do have their full first turn. But yeah, it's always Meli for me. It's whoever is on the field that is the biggest threat to killing my unit that I plan on doing damage with is who I'm going to eliminate every time.
For sure. Yeah, the one team I haven't seen as much of as I thought I'd see is, and it was pretty popular on YouTube for like a few days on JP when the new Meliodas came out, was New Meli, Sigurd, Relic, Arthur, and then Festival Zeldris in the back. And for those of you that don't know, the whole trick there is the Relic original Arthur would put out a debuff on everyone, and that would trigger Sigurd's passive before the other team even gets a turn to go. So like on your first turn, you'd end up with 3 stacks from Sigurd. You could buff up your Meliodas with your OG Red Arthur. They'd all be defense broken already, and you'd have, I don't even know how many stacks it is for an amplify hit. And you can even put Nanashi in the back too, which we know Odie loves to, just give you a few extra stacks in case 1,000,000 damage on an amplify isn't enough to kill someone. You just need those extra couple stacks. But I think I've seen one of those teams so far.
Well, I don't think the new Arthur Relic, I don't think that works on global. I thought that that wasn't buffing over as much.
Oh, it does. It was fixed. I guess one of the problems that team has though is it really needs to go first. And Sigurd, most people are probably running him on an attack set. Original Arthur with Relic probably doesn't have the highest CC either. So I could see it being a little bit of an issue there, maybe trying to get your CC up to go first. But I kind of wish I had Relic Arthur because I was hoping to bring that out. I should ask some of our guildmates who I know built that relic for this specific situation to see if they've been using it in PvP a lot.
Yeah, I might have to try that one out.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking for gear for this new Meliodas? Clap, he's got a Pierce card. Do you go Pierce rolls? Do you go attack rolls, attack crit? Attack defense, HP crit? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just using attack defense with attack rolls.
Attack defense. I was expecting you to say attack crit with attack rolls, but
might have to make some.
Why did you decide to go for defense?
Because I just don't have the crit pieces yet.
Oh, okay.
I
so
should probably make them even for assault mode melees.
How about you, Odie? Are you on a crit damage train?
Yeah, I've got multiple melee sets, so health and attack sets. So I'm using them currently right now on attack crit. But I do find that when I go into the geared PvP, a lot of times I'm putting on the defense set, just to get that extra CC. And because I have run into 1 or 2 people that obviously see me by 1,000 or 2, and that actual defense goes a long way. I found with melee, if you're running attack crit, guaranteed to die first round. If you're running attack defense, you might live 40% of the time. So. It kind of depends on what I'm using them for.
Do you think there's an argument, Odie, for an HP crit set even, just to like squeak out that extra CC if you are having problems going first?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. It's not like Melly needs more damage. I think that he's going to have plenty of attack by the time he, put all the stacks on there. So if you don't have the cosmetics and the alt levels or anything like that to get up there into the CC range you need to go first, then yeah, I mean, throw an HP set on him and you're less attack. Are you still not going to kill someone when T1 whacks someone twice and Melly comes in with an amplify card? I mean, who's going to survive that?
Good point. Maybe I should try bring him into PvP. I've only played against him. I haven't played with him in PvP, but it might be tempting to try out with an HP set to see what kind of CC levels I get there. So you two are demon partners. For those who didn't know, I'm actually curious. Do you guys use Traitor Meliodas on any of the demons? Have you bothered displacing any of your current lineups with new Traitor Meliodas?
We're trying to. I've only built mine like today, but we're going to try and find a 3-turn team for Crimson at least using him.
Ooh. If you do that, you'll get 1 million views on YouTube. 3-turn.
We got really close. It was just the draw in the second phase there. It's just if you don't get a melee card in that second phase, then we couldn't get through it. And that was before Clap had his melee actually built. So I'm kind of working up a whole new, concept here of what we're going to do. And I think I'm on to something about a 3-turn kill, but we're almost there.
Ooh, so if you guys figure it out next show, everyone stay tuned. We'll have to have a special segment on how to 3-turn the Crimson Demon, and I am going to be glued to the mic and to the headset for that one too. I'm very curious. Taking him 1 turn off would make it so much better. All the other demons are generally 2 or 3 turns. So
yeah.
Well, and none of us really like the gray demons because the cosmetic upgrades for the armors, they're all right. I mean when you can't get anything else, but we all want the gems for the weapons and the upgrades for the cosmetics. So so of course he usually summons reds or some Belmouth, and now I'm doing strictly Howlex, but. those 4 turns versus 3 turns, I mean, you can shave a lot of time off when you're doing 12 demons a day.
For sure. Been using the new Traitor Meliodas for Red Demon just as a secondary DPS option, and it does seem to make it just a little bit of a less of like a thought process having to go on, because you just tap all the cards with T1 and Assault and the new Traitor Meliodas. It doesn't really matter what cards you play. You're going to kill pretty much every phase no matter what. So it's been a nice little quality of life there. Just don't have to think about it. Just go into like autopilot mode. But outside of that, I'm curious to see how it works out on the Crimson Demon.
Well, I think me and Clap have gotten such a sequence down now where it's just like, we know exactly what the other card, what card they're going to play and what card I should play, etc. So if we could nail that Meli, Howlix one down, that'd be monumental.
Well, hopefully we'll be hearing news about that soon. I'm looking forward to it. No problem. Let's move along to the JTP preview. We've got a new green Sariel that just came out today. So I've seen a lot of content. We've got a list of, what he does and everything, or she, I guess, because it's technically a girl. And seems kind of strong, but I'll go over the kit. We'll talk about it a little bit. Again, these are just first impressions because we haven't had our hands on with this new character. We've just seen a lot of content on YouTube regarding it. So new green Sariel has a passive which increases the 4 Archangels allies crit damage by 8% for every buff effect on the battlefield. This is a limit of 5 times. So if it has to be at least maximum of 5 buffs to max that out. Now, just to note, this is only for the 4 Archangels. So not for just all angels. Elizabeth does not count. His Grace, so this works for him as well as if he's using an association slot. When using a skill, decrease all enemies' crit chance by 3% and crit damage by 8% for 2 turns. And this stacks up to 5 times. So anytime you use a card, the enemy gets a red debuff on them, which reduces their crit chance and crit damage. Interestingly enough, if you use your taunt skill, which we're going to talk about in a second, which has a counter to it, anytime you use your counter attack, you also put a debuff on the whole team, the exact same kind of debuff. So it's kind of an interesting little mechanic that the game has there. Skill 1 is an AoE cleave skill. So this is cleave just like Cusack or Festival Zeldris. It doesn't crit, but it does bonus damage based on critting, and it's an AoE cleave skill. It hits pretty hard, actually. Second skill is a stance taunt skill with an attack-based counter. Silver on the stance taunt gives attack reduction of 40%, and it makes it also last for 2 turns, which is pretty important because not a lot of silver cards that are stances will last for 2 turns. The gold actually gives more attack reduction, 60%, and it increases damage dealt by 60% too. That gold card hits hard. His alt is an AoE skill with a new blue text called Suppress. I don't think any other unit has this. And the Suppress keyword means that you do 40% extra damage while for every stance effect active on you. So that's pretty cool. So you want to make sure you stance up before using that AoE skill. Initial thoughts. Odie, have you seen much about him yet? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've all seen Sariel coming down the pipe. I think first of all that I think I found out today that Sariel's a girl. For some odd reason, I always thought it was a boy, even watching the anime. But the more you know. But yeah, she's really good. Everything about her looks really good. It's just really weird though because she does a lot of damage, but she looks like a support unit. Between the taunt and the reduction and even a passive. She looks like she's going to be more of an assist unit than a DPS, but I mean, she does hit like a truck, But I think we'd all be disappointed if we got a new Sariel and it didn't hit like a truck compared to the old Sariel having so many miles on him, and lasted for so long.
Yeah.
So it looks fantastic.
So I know people are probably going to scream in the comments about this, but I'm almost positive Sariel, like the angel's a guy, but he just got reincarnated in this one into a girl's body, kind of like how Ludociel got reincarnated into, or whatever you want to call it, possessing Margaret's body. So the body of the Sariel is female, but the soul of Sariel is male, I guess. Yep. I don't really know, but that's as far as Clap's giving me the yes. So that probably means that it's accurate. So just that's how that works. And I just learned that today too, even after watching the anime, I didn't realize, but people were posting, pics of the wiki saying like, she's actually a female. I think the argument was, is it Lolly Sariel or whatever the male version of Lolly is? And people were trying to figure out what to call the new Sariel. That's how that kind of conversation ended. But it's Lolly Sariel apparently, or just Green Sariel, which
just the name of the original body.
There you go. Solacede Sariel, Green Sariel, Lolly Sariel. Who knows what it's going to end up being called? But I feel like Green Sariel is just going to be the way people are going to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it does, just to what Odie was saying, seem like he's a complementary unit, and it seems like kind of an awkward complementary unit at this point. He does a lot of damage, or she does a lot of damage with a stance card with the AoE cleave, but it feels like there's a missing piece. It's kind of like when Excalibur Arthur came out, and then later on Bond came out to complement him, right? And they work so well together. I feel like when the new Tarmiel comes out, I'm assuming the Tarmiel is going to be coming out soon, the new possessed body Tarmiel, whatever you want to call him. Those two are presumably going to work really well together, especially considering that his passive works for Archangels. So maybe the 3 incarnated Archangels are going to work well together, or maybe we'll even get Mael soon, which people have been talking about for a year. So who knows if that's ever going to happen. Clap, what do you think about the new Sariel?
Looks good, but just as you said, it's just missing a unit to make the Angels good again.
Yeah, I think that the Sariel, like I'm watching in PvP, it's nothing meta breaking. I think it's going to be a good unit. I'm pretty excited for him for Guild Wars content too. Anytime you have something like with a taunt where the defense AI, when they're attacking into you, don't know what they're doing, it's always nice because you can take advantage of that, which is one of the reasons Assault Meliodas is so good in Guild Wars. So a few other things that I scratched some notes down when I was watching some of these videos just to make sure that I could remember to talk about them. But one other thing that's interesting is that his cleave card works really well against King Shield, and he's green. So maybe when they were drawing out on the board this new Sariel unit, they're like, hey, we need something that can counter King, and they're like, you know what, this has a few elements that can do that. They probably made him green specifically for this reason. So maybe he's a bit of a King counter too. Odie, I don't know if you think about it. We talked about when King came out, we're like, they're probably just going to start rolling out counters until they find one that sticks. Is Sariel the solution?
He is. You made a great point with that, because the one thing I've seen in the PvP videos that are going around right now with the new Sariel is you see anytime the King gets up there, the nice part about Sariel's counter is when King attacks, Sariel counters before King's shield activates. And so if you actually, and it hits really hard. I think I've seen a level 2 hit like 110k, which is just brutal. So if you have a King and he attacks and Sariel counters and kills the King, then actually you don't get a shield for anybody. So, it's a great way to kind of head it off before you get a chance to put up the shield. You can kind of get rid of them.
Oh, interesting.
I think it comes back to CC again, kind of get that King dead or worn down first before he gets a chance to attack.
Cool.
But it's a great counter.
I didn't even know that is the way they interacted too.
Yep.
And I know you're a big fan of crazy teams. One team I saw, I think it was Merlin try. It might have been Merlin. Maybe it was another YouTuber though. Was a stance team. It was in 4v4 content, but still, I mean, the principle's the same. I think it was Chandler, the new Sariel, Esterosa, and Terry. that team sounds kind of frightening, terrifying. What do you think of something like that? Does that have the Odie stamp of approval?
No, I don't do that. And sadly enough, like, I'm not into stance teams. And I know that a lot of people love those teams, so sorry for, pissing anybody off that loves their stance teams. I'm coming up with something that's a little bit more crafty. Currently, one thing I'm working on right now is thinking about is Sariel, the way that he works. He reduces the crit chance, the crit damage of the Pierce. Well, so does Green Easton. And I just happen to have a Green Easton relic. And so I think a combination of Green Easton and Sariel, I think, could be a pretty good 1-2 punch. And you maybe throw Traitor Meli in the middle, or, even like a Festival Gother. I'm still tweaking the team a little bit. Sariel just came out today. But yeah, there's definitely some things brewing in my mind.
Ooh, I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, more payoff from that Lilia relic is what I'm looking for, of the Easton relic.
How about you, Clap? Do you like being toxic with stance teams?
Nope, I don't like them. Matches just take way too long, and I like to finish them quick.
Exactly. I think I'm in the same boat too. Hopefully it won't become a thing. Like every once in a while, it seems like these stance teams crop up and just slow everything down, makes PvP take 10 times as long. It reminds me of when we had a few weeks ago where you could have multiple of the same unit and people are running triple Gother. Those matches would take so long. It was really fun. I hated PvP that week. Okay, well, let's move along from Green Sariel. I'm sure we'll be talking about him on next episode quite a bit. And let's move along into the next JP preview, the new relics, because a few relics came out. We don't often just talk about them, but there was an interesting one that came here. So Baby Merlin got a relic, 20% extra attack when attacking enemies with debuffs. Relics are, you gotta make these decisions properly, because you can only, if you're getting everything you can off the bird every week, make a relic every 2.5 weeks. So my question to both of you is, Baby Merlin's relic going to be next on your list? Clap, what do you think?
Yeah, I haven't had a relic that I wanted to make for a while, so I've just been making anything like Shin and Roxy. So I'm definitely just going to make this one next.
You gonna use her in PvP when it comes out,
Nope.
you think, or
just Guild Wars?
Guild Wars, yeah. I think a lot of people are thinking that too. How about you, Odie? Is Baby Merlin's relic on the list?
Yeah, I think you have to make it. I'm actually sitting in at a point right now where I kind of got lost with relics. I mean, I've built a few, whatever, but I've just gotten to the point in the past couple weeks where I think I got enough to build 2 relics right now. But I get so indecisive as far as it's a 2.5 week commitment. Which relic am I going to build? etc. So I'll probably build Baby Merlin just because I'm sitting on 2 relics with the materials and there's nothing else really to build. But actually, I found a way to shave it down to 2 weeks for a relic, and probably unpopular, but I only buy with my, going into the Tree of Life stages there. They now have the, that wind medallion or whatever it is to build the relics. It's 1,000, and it is 1,000 to get it. It's rather expensive, but you can afford the packs for all of the materials that give you the 30 of each material to build the relic, and you can afford the 1,000 per week if you grind hard. So I started buying that every single week along with the packs, and it takes me about 2 weeks. I have 14, and you only need 1 after that. So get them a little bit quicker.
Maybe I should consider doing that. I've always just bought the pizza slices and saved the rest for usually SA coins if I have overflow amounts.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you can't afford both of those and the wind source, so you have to choose between what you want to buy.
But Merlic's relic, the one thing that when I saw it was a little disappointing, and I mean, I guess it's got to be balanced, is that it only these relics, they give you bonus stats too. So the first thing I was like, I wonder how much more attack she's going to get, and she only gets 50 more attack from a relic. I imagine it's because it's a balanced thing. The last thing you want to give a Merlin is more attack on top of the 20% bonus she's going to get when attacking debuffed enemies. Do you think that was a good call, Clap? Were you hoping to see more attack there to make her really beast, or is 50 probably more reasonable?
I mean, I think we all just want more attack when possible, just to hit harder, but it's probably better for balancing that they didn't.
I don't want to get hit harder, though, so it goes both ways, right?
Just go first and hit them.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm not sure if this relic is necessarily going to make Merlin the new PvP meta. She does hit hard, but she already hit hard before, and I guess maybe this makes her a little bit over the top. And she can provide her own debuffs, and there's so many ways to get debuffs already that hitting into a debuff unit shouldn't be a problem. But who knows? Maybe Odie will come up with his crackpot brain some sort of idea of how to use Merlin in a new comp with her relic.
Yeah, probably not. Odie's just going to get mad in PvP because it's going to be the return of the Goddess Liz, Amelia, friggin' Lolly teams that you're already seeing out there as it is. And they're going to be friggin' everywhere, the most toxic team in Grand Cross.
That team's been good for so long. It's had a lot of staying power, and it hasn't really completely disappeared ever, I think, since Amelia came out. So that was a while ago now. All right, well, let's start winding on the show. We're going to talk about the featured comment, and then we're going to go into whose sound is that anyway. So the featured comment for the week, again, if you just leave a comment on YouTube or wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast, we feature one a week. And this one comes from Chifuji. And I hope I'm saying that right, but Chifuji on YouTube said, "Happy New Year, Boar Hat Tavern." You know what? Happy New Year, Chifuji. Nice, easy comment there. But it's nice to, when everyone puts nice things in the comments, I like to feature them. Happy New Year, Kafuji, and everybody else who's watching and listening to the show. Okay, now it's time for the game. So the game, in case you haven't seen, we haven't done one of these in a while, the Whose Sound Is It Anyways game. So I'm going to play a clip that's from a skill or an ultimate of a character, and Odie or Clap, whoever buzzes in first, will have to guess who's making that noise. Now, I know that a lot of people play the sound off, and Odie and Clap have already said they're a little hesitant about doing this. So I'm going to give kind of like hints going in before playing these sounds with the category that they're in, just so that everyone, it narrows it down a little bit, because I know this can be pretty difficult. I'm just really happy I'm not the one who has to guess. So we're going to start. The overarching theme for this whole thing, so this is for all the categories, and I've actually got 4 separate categories, is fests are the bests. So everyone is a festival unit. All right, that's even a hint. Like usually you can get from the pun what the category is, but I'm just going to tell you straight out. Fests are the bests. So it's all festival units. Just make sure you guys know, if you say like, oh, Festival King, you got to let me know which king you're talking about. Festival Meli, there's a lot of Festival Melis now too. So just try and be as specific as you can when you're answering the question. Okay, we're just going to do 1 point each, except for the ultimates. They'll be worth 2, just to make it interesting. Double money in the ultimate section. So we're going to do the first category. There's 2 sounds in this one. This category is called slamming spikes. Okay. Now the first sound is this one. You guys get that one? Play it again if you want.
Play it one more time.
Yep. All right. Any guesses on that one? Again, the category is called slamming spikes. I'm emphasizing the word slamming to hopefully help you guys out a little bit.
I thought you were emphasizing spikes for crit damage.
If you guys give up, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta guess.
Okay, Odie, let's hear you guess.
I'm gonna go with Taizu.
No, don't forget, these are all festival units. So Taizu does not have a festival unit yet, but you can't get negative points, so you might as well guess, right?
Hashtag Taizu festival.
Yep, Taizu. Hey, he's in the fight festival, so I guess it's kind of there. Maybe it would have been like a bit of a curveball I was trying to throw you. Clap, do you have a guess, or should I just tell everybody what it is?
Yeah, I don't have a guess.
Not even a guess. Okay, it was T1's Flood card. Let's play it again for posterity. It's a lot easier to hear it.
That's not what my sounds like.
When you know it. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to the next one. This is again the same category, slamming spikes. Emphasizing spikes here. Okay, Odie.
That's the easy one. That's Lolly Merlin for Power Strike card.
That is Lolly Merlin's Power Strike card. Awesome job. That's 1 for Odie, 0 for Clap. Okay. The next category is believe in the cleave. All right, with emphasis on cleave. Starting with the first one. You guys ready? Here we go.
Yep.
Believe in the cleave. Any guesses, boys?
And I think I'm wrong, but I'll guess anyway. Zeldris?
It is Festival Zeldris' cleave card. Okay, this is where it's Clap's turn to shine, because this is the second one in the category. Not a lot of cleave units out there. Ready?
Can I just guess before?
Let it play. Okay, Clap, which one's that?
That's to be Cusack's cleave card then.
Cusack's cleave card it is. Okay, Odie's got 2, Clap's got 1. I was hoping that by process of elimination, Clap might get at least 1 point in this game. Okay, next category is called The Buff is the Right Stuff. I'm trying to keep with rhyming puns. So here, the buff is the right stuff. Hopefully you can kind of know what kind of cards are coming here. And again, these are all fest units. Here's the first soundbite.
やはりこの器は上物だ。
Any guesses, boys? Hi, Odie, what do you think?
Margaret?
It is Margaret's buff. Breath of Bless, or whatever she does with the blowing. Okay. Again, process of elimination clap. I'm banking on you for that. What's this one? Here we go. Okay, clap.
Goddess Liz Shield.
That's right. Gotta love when you win, but you get points by default. It's almost like I've choreographed this.
The only way I'll get any points here, so I'll take them.
Okay, now we're getting into the alts. So the alts have a lot longer soundbite, so they generally have some more hints involved in them. And there's no category for this. These are just alts, and they're alts of fest units again. So we'll start with the first one. Try and see if you can recognize the voices, maybe. Oh, clap. What do you think it is?
Lost Vein Meliodas?
It is not Lost Vein Meliodas. Any guesses, Odie?
Can you play the shortened version where they skip the alt animations? That's the one. No.
I'll start playing it and then put up your hand when you want me to stop.
Oh, I can see the damn fireball shooting from the sky. I just can't think of whose alt it is.
You have a guess?
It's a festival unit. Traitor Meliodas.
Nope.
I know I'm wrong.
That was Bond's alt. So that bit at the beginning was the eye of the demon or whatever that you always see with Elaine in it, right? Okay. 2 left. All right. I'll give you even more of a hint because I feel like you guys need it. These are more recent festival
mildly offensive.
festival units. Hey, got to make sure that you guys get some points on the board. Here we go. Okay, Odie.
I think I know. Is that King?
That is King. Which King, though?
That is the new King there, Full Wing King.
Perfect. I figured, if nothing else, that little clip at the end of his shield going up would probably be a bit of a giveaway. Yeah, good job. So Odie's got another point. So, these are 2 points each. So Odie's got 5. Odie's actually clinched it, but we're still going to do the last one anyways. And here it is.
Good clap.
Sounds like the new Meliodas.
Is that your final answer?
It's my only answer, so yeah.
And it is correct. It is the new Meliodas. So Odie wins, but by a slim margin of 5-4. Yep. So that was a fun one. Yeah, those ones are always so hard because I feel like 90% of people don't play with the sound on. Sandy was particularly good at figuring these out. And I think we had someone on at one point who actually spoke Japanese who could do it too. And it was just a bit of a tip off for him. Because you can actually understand what they're saying during those alt animations and such. So it was a little bit easier too. But good job, boys. And that being said, this is where we sign off. Thanks everybody for joining us at the Boar Hat Tavern, a 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross podcast. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us anytime at podcast@boarhattavern.com. All 3 of us are members of the Global Guild Denied, part of the Scoundrels Alliance. If you'd like to join our ranks, pop onto our Discord server. Link's going to be in the description below. You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. We're probably there. You can also find our shows on our website at boarhattavern.com. I'd like to thank Madeline Merwa for crafting our killer logo, Streetwise Rhapsody from YouTube for composing the awesome cover art of the Grand Cross theme song that we use for our intro, and Andre Bobet from ArtStation for letting us use his outstanding 3D renders of the Boar Hat Tavern for our pre-live and post-video splash screens. You can find all their work in the websites in the description below. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a great week.
Enjoy.